So this video is to go over Test 5 test review, the honors test review, question number 6A and 6B. So if you look at 6A, you are given your first term, your common difference, and the nth term. So since we're given the nth term, we're going to use the explicit formula because the explicit formula is a sub n equals. So since we're given D is always your common difference. So we're given a sub 1 equals -7, D equals 5, and a sub n equals 48. Alright, so we're going to use these values to determine the number of terms in the sequence. So we're going to solve for n. So first we have to find the explicit formula. So a sub n equals a sub 1, so -7, plus the quantity n minus 1 times our common difference of 5. So then we're going to multiply that out. So -7 plus 5n minus 5. So then -7 minus 5 is -12 plus 5n. So our a sub n equals -12 plus 5n. Alright, so they give us a sub n equals 48. So now we're going to substitute that. So 48 equals -12 plus 5n. So now we're going to solve for n. So we're going to add 12 to both sides. So 60 equals 5n. We're going to divide both sides by 5. So n equals 12. And that's how you do 6a. Alright, so for 6b, so that was 6a. For 6b, it's a little bit different. So in b, you're given a sub 1 and it equals 4. You are given that d equals 7. And you are given that s sub n equals 228. So you're given your first term, your common difference, and the sum of the series. So since we're given the sum of the series, we're going to use series formula for arithmetic series. So we're going to use the arithmetic series formula. There we go. Alright, so the series formula is s sub n equals n over 2 times the quantity a sub 1 plus a sub n. So we're given s sub n, so 228 equals, we don't know what n is, that's what we're trying to solve for. A sub 1 is 4, and we don't know what a sub n is. So we're going to have to find the explicit formula like we did in 6a. So the explicit formula is written a sub n equals, so then once we get that formula, we can sub it in for a sub n. So since we're given the first term is 4, so a sub n is going to equal 4 plus the quantity n minus 1, and then times the common difference of 7. So a sub n is going to equal 4 plus 7n minus 7. So 4 minus 7 is -3 plus 7n. So a sub n equals -3 plus 7n. So now this is going to go in for a sub n up here. So we're going to have 4 plus -3 plus 7n. So now this right here is what we're going to use to solve for n. So I'm going to come over to the side in a different color. Alright, so 228 equals n over 2 times 4 plus -3 plus 7n. Alright, so now we're going to combine like terms over here. So 228 equals n over 2. 4 plus -3 is +1 plus 7n. So now we are going to multiply both sides by 2. to get rid of the fraction. So times 2 times 2. So 2 times 228 gives you 456. The 2's are going to cancel over here. So then we're going to be left with n times 1 plus 7n. So then we're going to distribute the n. So we're going to get 456 equals n plus 7n squared. So now we are going to subtract 456 from both sides. So we're going to get 0 equals, and I'm going to rewrite the right-hand side so it's in standard form. So 7n squared plus n minus 456. Alright, so now it looks like a quadratic. So we know a number of ways to solve quadratic equations. So I'm going to use quadratic formula. So quadratic formula, in this case, instead of x, we're going to have n. So n equals negative b. So our b is 1, so negative 1, plus or minus the square root of b squared. So 1 squared is 1, minus 4, a is 7, c is negative 456, and then all over 2a. So a is 7, so 2 times 7 is 14. Alright, so now I'm going to multiply what's under the radical. So we're going to get n equals negative 1 plus or minus the square root. And then I'm going to type in one minus 4 times 7 times negative 456. And I get that it equals 12,769. And then over 14. Alright, so let's see if the square root of 12,769 is a perfect square. So square root 12,769. And it is, so we're in luck. So this is really n equals negative 1 plus or minus 113 over 14. So then we break it apart. So then n equals negative 1 plus 113 over 14. And n equals negative 1 minus 113 over 14. So then we're going to type both of those in our calculator and see what we get. So negative 1 plus 113 is going to give us 112. 112 divided by 14 gives us 8. So n equals 8. And n also equals, so now we're going to type in negative 1 minus 113 and then divide by 14. And we get this decimal, so we're going to change it to a fraction. So we get negative 57 over 7. So n equals negative 57 over 7. Alright, so now we have to think and use logic. So it's asking for the number of terms. So n is the number of terms. We cannot have a negative number of terms. So our n is going to equal 8. So this concludes 6A and 6B for the honors test review.